You've got family members, relatives that you just don't see often. Sometimes the interactions are awkward.
Making sure we're thinking like the Holy Spirit, that we're going to conduct ourselves in a way that's consistent with what we are at home.
Sometimes being put back in a family dynamic where certain things and people can trigger us and bring us right back to maybe our childhood, and it can just pull something out of us that we don't really like.
But then you get into situations that sometimes you can't prepare for.
Anything awkward, anything like that, we have taken the kids out of the house.
How did you keep the focus of the season when you're traveling?
We always made a point of praying over our trip when we were going. Even though we might not have an opportunity to go to our church, we could still see it online. We would try to prioritize that.
Taking the traditions that we had from home and just took them along and invite whoever we were visiting into joining us.
Talk a little bit about boundaries.
A big part of it is having boundaries set well at home before you travel.
Telling the rest of our family members, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing and this is where we're going.
When you're unified, you have a much greater chance of not only getting through to the other side and surviving, but thriving through that disruption.
And when we are going to spend time with extended family, friends, our kids are watching. How do mom and dad treat grandma and grandpa? We are training them for how they're going to treat us someday.
Well, it's good to be back on the Life Parenting Podcast.
Yes.
Rich Young here.
And Julie Young.
Yeah, we got
We are married to each other.
We have been married for how long?
33 years.
Tell me how great that has been.
It has been amazing.
Tell me the best part of the 33 years. I want to hear it.
Golly, on the spot. Oh, spending life with my best friend.
That's awesome. Favorite activity?
Oh, that we do together? Any adventuring that we do.
Favorite date night?
Oh my goodness. Anything out on the water?
Anything out in the water. Favorite activity on the water?
Oh, water skiing.
Me pulling you or you pulling me?
You pulling me?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Kind of felt it was going to go down that road, but that's okay. That's great.
Well, as I advance in age, it's always a real victory when I can still get up.
So favorite child?
Oh boy, trick question.
I did. I kind of tricked you there. I probably shouldn't have done that. Sorry. That wasn't
I
very...
plead the fifth on that one.
That wasn't
They're
very
all my
nice.
favorites.
They are all... See, that's all you had to say is they're all my
favorites.
favorites. Well, we've got a great session for you today. It's our third in a series of 3 on the holidays here on navigating family dynamics and social situations.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a great one.
Yeah, just so many questions about the holidays. We always look forward to them and dread them, and there's things that are hard and things that are easy, and we want to zero in on some of we get asked a lot of questions about the holidays, and so we kind of boil down some of the things that we've heard from parents or that we've experienced that are challenging, and addressing those and trying to bring peace to the holiday, and so we can focus on the family time and the reason we're celebrating Christmas at all, the birth of our Savior.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So we brought some friends in today. You want to introduce our friends?
I would love to.
And then we'll have them introduce themselves after you introduce them.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I was trying to remember when we first met you and how many years ago. I'm guessing 20 years ago-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Darrell and Janelle Downs. And I'm going to let you guys take it from here. Tell us who you are. But
Tell us a little bit about
ours.
yourselves.
A little bit about ourselves. Well, I am Darrell. This would be my lovely wife, Janelle. We've been in Charleston since 1995. And 2 kids, Jared and Trina. Both they're out of the house now, so we're kind of figuring out the empty nester thing. So that's where we're at.
Yep.
So I think the listeners want to hear your favorite empty nest activity now that the kids are out of the house. What's been your favorite thing to do? This is a family podcast.
This is a family podcast.
It
so
is. Kids may be listening, so I'm just going to clarify
this
there.
is so yes, we can do that. The newest favorite activity is planning our next. Planning your next.
Yes.
So explain what that means. Planning your next
adventure,
Okay.
There's been plenty of adventures that we have gone on, some with the kids. Now they'll just be the two of us.
Very
I
exciting.
think so, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I will have to say that your two kids are the ages of our second and third born children. And so we've grown up doing a lot of life together with them.
Yep.
And one of the reasons we asked you guys to come on, not only are you our friends, and since we're hosting, we get to invite whoever we want to. But we have had 20 plus years of watching you guys raise your children, and the thought that you put behind it, the intention that you have put behind it, the successes that you've had, and also the oopsies that you guys have learned from that every single parent does. And it's just a joy now to watch your two children as young adults, and they really are thriving. And it's neat to see that they're both walking with the Lord. They are functioning, employed, beautiful children. And so you guys have obviously done a lot of things right. Yeah, I have seen you rely heavily on the Lord. I know that you two are humble enough to say, look at us and do everything. You wouldn't say that. You'd say, look at the Lord and what he's done. And so we're excited to highlight that, what he has done in your family.
Yeah, I know for Janelle and I, we are just super excited to be here. We've looked at families that have gone before us, you guys included, and many others that that we've looked up to and that have helped us along the way. And I don't know that I ever really allowed for us to think that we might be in a spot here where we were going to be sharing wisdom.
You are now.
We are now.
It's great to
So
be there.
just to let
Here
you know, Darrell,
today.
you are right now.
We are now.
So Janelle, tell us your story on GFI, how you found it, and why you took that first class or had that first interaction. What was going on?
Yeah. So, first interaction that we had was with a neighbor who gave us a Baby Wise book when I was pregnant, and we didn't know anything about growing families. And they gave us a book and said, if you read this book, your baby will sleep all by itself through the night, and so and sleep
We
in the
promise.
bed.
Sounds
And
pretty attractive.
we just didn't. Because we had pretty much zero knowledge at that point. We thought, well, we'll read this book. And we did, and that kind of started us on the journey. Once we read that book and we moved to Charleston, there were classes that were offered to offer the next phase after the baby and so on. And so we just kept taking the classes.
Kept going.
So there's a lot of principles in parenting, a lot of principles in growing families. Love to hear from each of you one principle that has meant the most to you over all these years. And there's a lot, so you can just pick one. So Darrell, what about you? What would be the one principle that sticks out to you?
I think really the thing that's made the most difference for me, and whether it's family or outside of the family, just really the whole speak life concept has been really made just amazing changes for not only in our marriage, but in our relationship with our kids and other families, friends, workers.
Yeah, we
It's
did
been-
a whole episode on that. So we'll put a link to that in the show notes. So if you haven't heard that
I think it's
concept
episode
before,
2, maybe 2 and 3, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it was
we'll-
one of the first ones we did.
we'll put a link and you can go check that out. I agree. That's powerful. How about you, Janelle? What's a principle that stands out to you?
I think for me, one of the things that just made the biggest change would be just taking things to the Lord, praying about things. That just isn't something that was part of my upbringing necessarily. It was just kind of a winging it. Let's see how things turn out. And I just felt like that gave me a way to know that I was getting wisdom from a good source. And I think that's been one of the things that have certainly made the biggest difference in
Yes.
raising our children.
Yes.
So you've been exposed to this, using these principles for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So why have you stuck with it? Why have you stuck with it over a couple of decades?
Yeah, and when we say stuck with it, because people are thinking your kids are grown, but you guys are leading classes every year. You are still committed to helping the next generation of parents.
So maybe two questions. Why have you stuck with
the principles in their
the
family?
principles in their family, and then why you're still leading? So it's a two-part question, 1A and 1B.
So I think back to some of the early families, and I can, you guys, the Keatings, Kurtz, a number of different families that we saw who were basically just living their lives with these, and the fruit from their family was just completely obvious. And so I think initially when we decided to continue leading classes, and it just was an opportunity for us to give back, which seems like a really simple answer, but it was more than that. There was community. there's so much involved. That was the impetus and kind of the beginning.
I agree with you, Darrell, about it just being a family. It's like an extension of family. And I just appreciated all of the help that I got from the principals, from other parents, other families along the way. And I just really wanted to give that back to some other families to help them along the way as well.
That's so neat. And isn't it fun to see the joy on these young parents? These are like kids coming into our classes.
I know.
But just the joy on their face when they have the success stories, when their baby is sleeping through the night, when their toddler says, yes, mommy, and comes when they call. It's just like, yes.
So are you saying we're old enough that some of these parents coming into our classes are our kids' age?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we've reached that phase of life.
We're getting
awesome.
close.
That's really
We're
awesome.
getting close.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Think about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on and let's talk about just some things that happen over the holidays, some things that you might experience. And we're going to start with kind of an easy one. We'll start real easy, and that's just awkward. When you have awkward family interactions, we'll just take the easiest one first. How's that?
That sounds easy.
We'll take the softball first.
Softball.
Yeah.
We like softballs.
Right. I figured I'd give you the easy one first, So you've got people you don't see often. You've got family members, relatives that you just don't see often. And when you don't see someone often, sometimes the interactions are awkward. Sometimes the interactions are awkward because the person that you're seeing is awkward. And sometimes we're the awkward ones. I mean, it kind of varies from situation to situation.
Well, and with family too, we don't choose our family. And so
That's fair.
Our family isn't often people that we may choose. The uncle that's just very unique.
The crazy uncle.
Crazy uncle. The woman who married your brother that you think, wow, okay. And so there's family.
Or the woman who married your sister. Or no, the man who married your sister.
Oh my,
I hope
well,
so. But it could be that too. And so the holidays just can present some challenges and some more opportunities for us to show the love of Christ that can be very testing.
I know. It's complex, isn't it? When we go to visit our families, or it can be. So I think with social interactions, it's been pretty good overall, but we just try to kind of, we've talked about this a little bit about how we just sort of keep the principle of show up and be consistent in what we're doing. And we even say show up, prayed up. A lot of times we just pray about all these things before we go. When we arrive, we want to know that, hey, we are really just making sure we're thinking like the Holy Spirit, that we're going to conduct ourselves in a way that's consistent with what we are at home. And then just demonstrating that in front of people, I think it just goes a long way. You don't really have to say a lot and
so often we have overcome things. We have grown. I like to think I have. And sometimes being put back in a family dynamic where certain things and people and things that are said can trigger us and bring us right back to maybe our childhood when we weren't as mature. Maybe we weren't walking with the Lord, and it can just pull something out of us that we don't really like. And so I love that saying being prayed up, because it is the power of the Holy Spirit in us that breaks those chains, breaks those strongholds or even habits that we have had that we can trigger back to.
yes.
But through the power of the Holy Spirit, we can break those, and we need His strength and His power to do that.
Yes, that was well said.
Right. It's like I recall, early on, and it was so different for me because my childhood is my sense of normal. I mean, nothing seemed out of place. Yet we were maybe trying to do something different for Jared and Trina and make it a little bit enhanced. So usually when we would be going to visit with family members, Janelle's right, that we would, just have the discussion with them early on, kind of preparing them. And
Preparing Jared and Trina or the family? That
I would say maybe preparing Jared and Trina on the trip over, and then quite honestly, maybe even preparing ourselves a little bit for the environment. And then just the conversation maybe shifted later in life to just be a little more adult-centered conversations with the kids and how things were going to go and what the expectations were and, different things of that nature. So
That's good. How can we love Aunt Matilda the best? What are some ways you're going to show love to Aunt Matilda?
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, preparing the kids.
give me some ideas.
I know.
We do love Aunt Matilda.
I don't really have an Aunt Matilda. I just pulled that
But
out.
all
but
the Aunt Matildas out there, if you're
Yes.
listening, we do love you. We do love you.
Yes, truly.
She's awesome.
Well, there are those people, and it may be very different for our children, or there may be a very elderly person who has some different mannerisms or habits that our children are used to, especially when our children are young. And so I love that, preparing them so they don't have this face going, what's wrong with you?
Mhm.
But instead preparing them ahead of time, and what's a way that we can show her love.
Yes.
So you have the preparation stage, but then you get into situations that sometimes you can't prepare for. What are some things that you've had to do in situation that have worked and that would help some folks that are listening here? You're in a situation and it's maybe not going the way you want it to. What are some things that you've done to help reset?
We've had a few situations where, I don't know, let's say there was bickering or something going on in the house, just something you didn't want maybe your children exposed to. It could be something like that. Anything awkward, anything like that. We have taken the kids out of the house. You can say, come on, let's go outside and play. You can wrangle them up and take them out. We can say, hey, let's go for a quick drive, because you want to do it in a way that's not offensive to the people who you're with, but you can just slip out, take them outside, take them for a ride, things like that. So that's some of the things that we've done over the years
That's good.
when they were young. Yeah.
I think the awkwardness is going to be different for every single person that might be watching, right? It could be interpersonal reactions or, maybe like I said, going back to a childhood pain point. For us, it was more things like, what's on the TV and is the news playing in the background all the time and or maybe commercials, and because, not a lot of boundaries there. And just things that maybe the sensitivities weren't quite as focused.
There
I
wasn't
guess,
an
maybe.
awareness.
There was
wasn't
maybe
an
not
awareness over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So how would you deal with that if the news is blaring and there's all sorts of stuff that your child is not ready for?
You turn on the football game. You just go grab the remote control and you turn on the football game. So
Change the
next question.
channel.
Next
Yeah.
question. No, Darrell and Janelle, how did you handle that?
I would say kind of along the lines of what we talked about before, or maybe kind of a two-part thing. In situations like if it was my family, well, first off, whoever would need to take the lead with the family. So if it was something in my family, Janelle might run interference with the kids, and then on the way out say, can you have this conversation, or can we maybe do something about this?
Ask them to change the channel, whatever it might be.
Right.
And you were always really good about that. And it was always, and it was well received.
It was always,
It was-
always very well received. Yeah, it just was a matter of
Communicating.
the desire. Yeah, it was. It didn't have to be a major deal.
In a way that wasn't offensive. They were they've been watching the news for so many years. It's been so long since they had a young child in the house. They hadn't even thought about it.
They didn't
Exactly.
recognize it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And
Right.
done in a non-threatening, life-giving way, as you said, speaking life. That's
Try,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I know our kids, especially when they were young, when there was a screen on, their eyes were a magnet to it. Like, you could even tell them, let's look away. Let's not watch the TV. And they, yes, Mom.
Yeah.
It was right back.
And if it's loud and all that, it's
It's a little
very,
magnet.
Yeah, so distracting,
No, it
changing
is.
the channel, that's good.
yes,
Totally.
definitely.
See, you get in those environments and then you get out of those environments and you probably haven't worked on as much stuff as you would have liked because you were just managing the situation. How did you get back into parenting again and kind of getting back in rhythm? Because you get out of rhythm for times like that. You aren't in rhythm like you are at home, right?
Yeah.
So what are some things that you did to kind of get yourself back on track fairly quickly and not allow it to snowball for weeks, months, years?
Are you talking about like when we would get home or something? Or
So
yeah.
you leave the environment that you're in that wasn't as ideal, and now you're kind of back on the way home, or you are home. How did you get back in line?
I think that's always a challenge when you've spent any time away from home and in an environment that is not the normal routine, the regular routine. So yeah, I mean, that would just always be, I think, just as quick as you can snap back to, certainly as parents, the principles. Sometimes, I mean, I remember drawing little pictures for my children saying, like you could draw a picture of, you were attached to this, but now there's been a little severing in there, and we're not attached to this, but this is what's going to keep peace. I'm trying to, think of an example, but just sort of drawing them a little picture on the whiteboard and saying, this is kind of where we're at. And it would be like if they were melting down or something after we'd been home. Things just aren't right in their attitude and in their little hearts a lot of times when you've been away and in those environments. So yeah, so I would just maybe illustrate it with a picture, definitely talk about it, and then just try to get back on track just get back to, and once you get home, I think usually you kind of get back, but you have to be intentional about putting those, putting those principles back in place. So yeah.
Right. Especially if it's still the break of the holiday. Like if you went somewhere over Christmas, from the 25th to the 28th, and you still have another week before school starts.
Yes.
And so in my mind, I was still on break.
Yes. Yeah.
But parenting really never takes a break.
Right.
It's so true. It's so true. And that can be challenging for us because we want to be on a break, but you can really, you have to kind of, you have to tune back in and become intentional again. So yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. How did you keep, so when because you guys usually did travel for Christmas, didn't you? So how did you create family traditions? How did you keep the focus of the season when you're traveling, spending time in different families' homes who may have different focuses during the holidays? How did you bring the Darrell and Janelle Downs family focus to your Christmas?
Do you want to take that?
Yeah, I'll start and you can clean up. So one thing, as we were going, whichever direction we were going, whether it was Thanksgiving, which was usually with my family, or Christmas, a lot of times would be at home, and then later on would move towards spending time with her family. We always made a point of, praying over our trip when we were going, and if possible, even though we might not have an opportunity to go to like our church or we could still see it online. And if there wasn't a focused effort to maybe go to church, we would try to prioritize that. I would say also other things that so
you would still go to church. It would just be virtually to your home
it would
church,
just be
and you
virtually.
would do it, the four of you, and if
as a
any
family.
other.
Right, exactly. And we would just kindly say, oh, do you mind if we use the TV? And then put it, so the bigger their TV, the better as far as we were concerned. And we would just put it on there and just enjoy our home church, on TV, online. And it just worked out really well. And then oftentimes whoever was there they would just sit there and join us. And we just felt like that was this kind of a sweet win, just being consistent and then always inviting them in as well, not just doing our thing, but just politely asking. And they were always very accommodating.
And there were a few other, I'll say, traditions that we started. One of the things that we liked and started on early on with the kids was the baby Jesus for the nativity scene. Janelle would always... it had a little box and a little bow, and she would always have it wrapped up, and she would put that out, of course, sometime after midnight. And that was always the first gift. And so sometimes baby Jesus would drive down the road with us to Grandma and Grandpa's house and magically show up underneath their tree.
Baby Jesus does travel.
Baby Jesus does travel. Yeah. So little things like that, or even, Christmas Advent stories, which we still would read. And of course, at that time, would kind of reach up to the climax. And as we were making a point of doing that and either pulling the other family members in or maybe the other niece in and just, hey, this is what we're doing. And come join us.
Yeah, essentially just taking the traditions that we had from home and just took them along and just
on the road
and invite whoever we were visiting into joining us. So, yeah.
That's neat. I love that because it helped keep the focus on the season, but it also brings a little bit of home with you on the road.
Yes.
And I always think that's important for kids when They're in a new home, new routine, new food, new bed. So much is changing. But, we're still doing the Advent story. We're still doing baby Jesus. That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to transition and talk a little bit about boundaries. And boundaries can be a couple different things. It can be us as parents setting boundaries with our kids as we go into situations that are different than we're used to. And it can be setting boundaries with extended family, for instance. And that could be regarding, gift budgets. And, you expect it to be this and they expect it to be a lot more. Or, the sleep schedules with the schedule that's going on with where you're visiting, or maybe a personal space type of issue with a child and a family member. So how did you handle those types of things as you navigated that with your kids and the travels that you guys did?
Yeah, I think that a big part of it is having boundaries set well at home before you travel.
That's
If
good.
your routine is about having, this is the way we handle things, this is the way we conduct ourselves at home, we're not really going to conduct ourselves differently, honestly, in a different environment. So I don't really feel like that was always challenging, but having the training happening at home rather than trying to train when you're on the road, I think would be, advice or, something I would say to
So
parents.
good. You don't jump on the furniture at home, so they're not going to do it at grandma's house.
Exactly.
exactly.
Exactly. Whether it's food, whatever it is, you're
Would there
just,
be one that you did at home that you really felt like, wow, this was super beneficial as you went out? What's one that you really felt like had some good traction to it?
I would say sleep schedule would be a big one.
Okay.
Right. Because then it's just, you
Good
just
answer.
keep that going when you're there. And then when the sleep isn't disrupted, that usually seems to help a lot with the behavior during the day.
Yeah.
It's all so tied together. So I think that would be a
So
big
when they
one.
were napping, you would still nap them. You would still try to have somewhat of a consistent bedtime. I mean,
Yes.
I'm sure that
Right.
things may get shifted a little, but
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that makes a big difference in the way the rest
yeah.
of the day goes. So yeah, I think that would be a big one.
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if I were to take you somewhere, Janelle, and I'm going to keep you up 3 hours past your bedtime and you're not going to sleep in your own bed, and I'm going to feed you more sugar than you've ever had all year long, and I'm going to give you a ton of gifts, and we're going to do wild and crazy and loud things all
Sign me
day
up.
long.
Let's go.
Where and when?
I know about you, but I would bonk out.
Right.
And sometimes that happens to our kids. We want everything to be fun and great. And yes, you get to stay up late. And yes, you can have more sugar. And yes, 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 yes. There are some yeses. It's the holidays. But if it's all yeses,
Sounds like family camp or a retreat,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
I hope not.
No,
Stay up 3 hours past your bedtime, and you do some of those things.
that's so good though, because I would definitely, I would do like to let them have fun, or I would be the one to kind of have probably the looser boundary. But I think just keeping those basic ones in place are good, but then allow some fun in there too, a thing or two. But like you said, Julie, not everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's good. Keeping those boundaries.
Yeah, definitely.
What about with family? Were there certain boundaries? Did you have to have talks with parents or siblings of yours up front?
Not really. If there was any kind of boundary, I don't know if that's the right word, but would have been early on when we were just kind of starting our parenting journey and had decided what we were going to do for education for Jared and Trina. That was a little bit different than what either Janelle or I grew up in. And so we were just able to communicate that up front. And number one, we were in lockstep
United. Yeah.
from we were very united
So
from the
important.
very beginning. Yeah, that was just critical. And, I think as parents, just telling the rest of our family members, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing and this is where we're going. And if they had any questions, which I believe they did, I think they kept them to themselves. And as time went on, we either reiterated that opinion and then kept that, at bay.
And then they started to see the fruit in your
Exactly.
children.
That's where I was going to go. Then once
Yeah.
they started to see the fruit, then the rest of that kind of dissolved.
Yeah.
So, and
That's
it was
neat.
good from there.
I think, and I was just going to say also, and then just translating that into the holiday, we would just would keep the boundary of keeping our visits to a certain amount, to a
Mhm.
certain length. And like, for example, at Thanksgiving, if we would spend so much time at someone else's house for Thanksgiving, and then I would get home and I would be stressed out because I'm sitting over at their house watching them hang all their Christmas lights and get ready for the holiday or something. And then I'd go home because we were hanging out there, and then I would be stressed because I didn't get my holiday light. It didn't get a start getting ready for Christmas. So just things like that. There's just reasons sometimes to have a boundary around the amount of time you spend. I think that was always beneficial for us.
Yes, to get maximum return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
You just spoke your language.
I'm telling you got him in a trance. That was good.
Well, but I
was
think
good.
there
Very
can be
good.
the attitude,
Very good.
especially if you're traveling a long way, that
Mhm.
if we're going all this way, we got to spend at least a week or
Mhm.
10 days or
Mhm.
a really long amount of time. And you have to evaluate, is that going to bless everybody?
Right.
Is that going to bless the people that we're staying with and
Mhm.
asking them to house and feed us? Is
Exactly.
it going to bless us? If it is, if you have that kind of relationship, go for it.
Right.
But deciding in advance and being
Mhm.
okay with we're going to travel all that way. Yes, we're only going to spend 3 days and then we're going to travel all that day home. But that was the biggest blessing for everybody.
Right. Yeah.
There may be some parents out there. I'm just thinking what you said was really good about unity and having that unity that may not be unified in some things. So what would you say are some things that they could do to become more unified over some areas maybe that they aren't in alignment? Because I agree. I think being unified.
Mhm.
So when you're put in a situation that is challenging and there can be disruption, when you're unified, you have a much greater chance of not only getting through to the other side and surviving, but thriving through that
Yeah.
disruption.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to some people that are listening maybe where they aren't unified on some things right now? What could they be doing to work on that and make progress towards that?
Number one, you got to figure out how you can get there. And I think the key is to communicate about it before you get there or before you get in the car. You can't save that conversation for the 3-hour drive
Mhm.
while you're going to get there, right? It's imminent.
In front of the kids.
In front of the kids. Oh, wait, now we got 2 hours and 30 minutes and now we
Mhm.
got this. And
Mhm.
that's just not the time to do that. Ultimately, one thing that I think helped us is, I always looked at things as, God, spouse, family, everybody else. And for me, everybody else included our extended families,
Mhm.
right? So it was God and then her, then Jared and Trina, and then was everybody else. And once we were able to kind of put that in order and get some alignment on things, it really started to just eliminate some problems because I knew that we needed to be united, even if we did disagree on a topic.
Mhm.
The point was that we were united when we were going through whatever the situation was. That was the most important.
And I think the way we got there was through the classes. It was really through the teaching of how to putting our marriage first, as he was saying. It's the order of things, putting your marriage first, and then the children come along after, and just making them, making the family the priority, making us the priority, and just being in unity on the things the decisions we were making.
Right.
And then once the kids know that, they'll.
That's good.
Yeah.
So with your spouse, Julie, what are some things that you did that created unification? Like got us on the same page?
Lots of couch time.
Lots of couch time. So explain that briefly, and then we can put we'll put a link in the show notes to that
Yeah, to
episode.
episode
But
one.
give us a teaser. Give us a 15-second teaser on what that is.
Spending time every day together. It doesn't have to be on the couch, but we'll say the couch. Just catching up with each other, just connecting. Having a time every day where you and I connect, because life gets busy. Life gets very full. The kids, there's a lot of demands on us. It can be very easy to save that time, if we even have the time at all, for after the kids go to bed. But the key to couch time is that the kids are watching us connect,
Yeah, that's good.
to give them the security that we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Can I ask the same question of myself, or do you want to ask it of me?
I would love to ask you, so honey, how did you best connect with your spouse?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking.
No problem.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I've done with my spouse that's really helped us connect is just having a regular date night.
Yeah.
Getting out of the house, kids seeing us leave together, come back together, enjoy each other, and talking about some of these issues. Sometimes it's not really talking about significant issues, but just spending time together and then working on things to make sure that we're in the same boat around a specific topic.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Dialogue daily, date weekly.
That's
Yes.
good. That's really
Depart quarterly, dream yearly.
I need to write that down.
That's really good.
I
That's
know,
probably on a
right?
podcast somewhere
It probably
too.
is somewhere. I think I just
I've heard
repeated
that.
it again.
Yeah, and we'll put a link in the show notes to that one too. I can't remember what episode that is, but
Great, if we can find it.
if not, we'll do one. Actually, we'll do one on that. If not, so if we don't have one, we're going to be doing one.
There's
then
gonna
we'll
be
link
one.
it.
It's probably in the
It's
catch
coming.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah. And I think sometimes you get in situations around family members, friends, people that love you, and they want to give you just some great advice.
Mm-hmm.
And I call that unsolicited advice.
Mhm.
So
And
have you ever?
sometimes it's good.
Sometimes it's not so good.
Mm-hmm.
So have you guys been in those types of situations? And if so, how have you handled that? How do you handle that unsolicited advice that comes your way?
I think you talked about that a little bit already, just saying how we were kind of upfront initially with with the plans of the way we're going to go with raising our family and just trying to do it in a God-honoring way. And then also, it still comes back to just inviting everybody else in to be a participant instead of feeling like I have to take the advice of someone else who is not really ultimately responsible for my children. So I think that was just sort of the way we did it, being unified and
Mhm.
sharing our vision with our family, and they were in agreement with
That's
it.
good. And not feeling
Mhm.
like you have to argue
Mm-mm.
and
Right.
tell them why their advice is bad or wrong.
And that's what I was going to
Smile
say
and
right
nod.
there. Just treat it, the information. I mean, you can still take the information and you don't have to
Mhm.
apply it front and center at that point in time.
Mhm.
And you can just be grace-filled and
Yeah.
accept it with humility, but then know what direction you want to go.
That's good.
But still honoring them, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. I think there is so much that our children learn just by watching us.
Mhm.
And when we are going to spend time with extended family, friends, our kids are watching, how do mom and dad treat grandma and grandpa?
Mhm.
And we are training them for how they're going to treat us someday,
That's so
which is a very
true.
sobering thought. And so watching our mouths, and we are called to honor our parents. And sometimes it's done out of duty if it has been a really hard relationship. And sometimes it's done out of devotion when we have a really beautiful relationship with our parents. But it doesn't matter. Either way, we still have to honor them
Mhm.
with our words. And that isn't always easy. Sometimes it is, again, and sometimes it's not. But our children are watching. And we're training them, even if Aunt Matilda is difficult. we're training our children on how to be grace-filled, how to love someone who maybe isn't really lovable.
Do you think if they saw you giving me extended back massages that they might want to do that for me as they get older? Just out of observation?
We can talk about that later. Yes. I mean, yes.
That would
Is
be a
that the
yes,
right
right?
answer?
That would be a yes.
Yes,
That's
that's the
what I
right
thought.
answer.
You mean like the
Just checking.
kids or Aunt Matilda?
Who am I giving this background
Janelle,
to?
I don't have an Aunt Matilda.
No, Aunt Matilda.
That would be Julie giving Rich a background. That's what I'm talking about.
I just wanted to get clarity. I
Yes.
wasn't sure.
And I'm giving you clarity right now,
Good to
and
know.
the rest of our listeners clarity. So
That's
it's
exactly right.
Perfect.
it's
Thank
an all
you.
play. It's an all play
Thank
here.
you for that.
But I think there are so many valuable lessons that we can go into the holidays being prepared to teach our kids a lot of really good lessons on how to love. And we're celebrating the birth of our Savior, and we're celebrating Jesus
Mhm.
in Christmas when we celebrate. So what did Jesus do? And how did he act? And how did he love? And how did he love difficult people? How did he love people he loved? How did he serve them? What can we do to serve? I know there have been times where we've been focused on teaching our children the virtue of servanthood and the gift that can be to people. So I know we're going into someone's home, but how can we serve them?
Right.
And getting the kids to talk and think, and then watching them take their own initiative.
Mhm.
So you've been traveling, visiting family, friends for quite a few years.
Like 20 years,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
So your kids are in their 20s, and
Mhm.
they're able to, like, you don't do a lot of pre-activity stuff now. You know, probably they show up and they may not even be riding in the car with you. They may show up separately now and be at the same place. How have you seen them interact with family now that they've had all these years? What are some things you've observed over the last few years out of your grown kids that are a result of some of the work that you did when they were smaller?
I think one of the big things has been like when you're going to visit family and being a little bit proactive in some of the activities. Like I can see both of our kids bringing up the idea of let's play that game, like thinking of a game we could all play together. So that brings the whole family together. So now they're the contributor.
What's their favorite game?
It's not like that kind of a board game. Like it could be, but we always, so that's one thing we do. Make sure we have some board games along, probably like bananagrams. What's the other, what's that one that your brother-in-law and everybody, they like to play the Big Bang Theory game.
Oh.
So anyway, there's different games because we try to keep some games going. So see, this keeps everybody interacting because everybody can kind of drift off into their phones and do different things. So to try to keep that
they
from
start
happening.
that.
So
That's cool.
now they initiate. We found this fun game. Let's play that when we're over there. Yeah. So
Do you remember the game Families?
Yeah.
We played that at after Trina's graduation, and it was such a major hit. We had a ball playing that game, and it just was all interactive and it was fun, and everybody picked up on it, and we just had a great time.
And everybody could participate, including like if they're from whatever age you were, you could participate. So trying to find games like that. I love that the kids like now will be the ones that come up with that or initiate that. So that's one thing. Yeah.
That's good. And that could be really beneficial too if you're with family who have diabolically opposed viewpoints on various social, political, religious
food
views to just get something that's a little more neutral. Let's just steer all those discussions away from anything that could polarize or divide us. Let's find what unites us.
Well, there was a point in time when, specifically with maybe some Thanksgiving gatherings where it was kind of such a large extended family. My brother-in-law's brother-in-law and her cousins and my mom and dad and my brother and sister and their extended. Wow. I mean, it was
big,
super big, and there were a very wide range of politics and just the whole gamut of differences.
Sure.
And so we did prioritize and focus on family first, and I would say unity rather than I'm going to change Uncle or Aunt Matilda's mind this year. I'm going to stick with that one. But
just for all the podcaster family out there, we love Aunt Matilda.
We do love Aunt Matilda. Rocks.
We do. Go ahead, Darrell.
She's awesome. But I would say that now that the kids are older, they have individual relationships with each of their aunts and uncles and even grandparents. And sometimes I hear from my dad, I talked to your daughter. She was driving down the road. And I'm like, that is so awesome that they are connecting on different levels because Jared and Trina do love the Lord and they do talk about that. And he does, I'll say, have a big impact on how they manage their days. And they're having those conversations with family members who maybe haven't been saved or we weren't quite sure about. And that has led to
non-holiday related conversations.
Just awesome. All year-round conversations and open the door to just other powerful conversations that we've been able to have.
That speaks to how you have honored your parents, that your children want to have that relationship with them. I think if we didn't have a good relationship with someone in our family and we were constantly bad-mouthing them to our children, we're souring that relationship. Our kids are going to be tainted and think very poorly of that person. It's going to be hard for them to come to love them. Yeah. And so that speaks highly. And the value of honoring so that then our children, they see
it's so true.
Various things and oddities and, whatever else it is in our family, but still teaching them to love.
I would say the importance too, I know your family, know your kids, they're very good at communicating, answering questions and asking questions. And I would say that comes from you guys being intentional to do that as a family for a long time as they were raised. And my guess is when they're in these type of environments with family members, holidays, whatever, they may not see often, that they're pretty interactive and they're probably asking a lot of questions of people. Would I be right with that?
Oh, yeah.
I would say so, definitely. And I like how you brought up the part about even just speaking about their faith. It just comes out naturally. That's just something that I think they just do it naturally because it's just something we talk about, things we talk about at home. It doesn't have to just be that, but
Your family does it naturally. It's part of your family identity. It's just spilling over. Our family identity spills over.
Yes.
We can't even help it. And even people who may not know they have a family identity and it's not a good one, that spills over too.
It does.
When you have a family identity,
It's
it's not like you have to try and do it. It's what you fall back to doing
Right.
when it's just natural.
Yeah.
A family identity is something that is very natural because you do it so often. It is your regular rhythm.
It is part of what identifies
part of what
you.
identifies you
The
as a
Downs
family,
family are Christ followers. That is part of your family identity, and that spills out.
And I just think ultimately, when we were talking about this ahead of time, it was just saying, it's really just about continuing to show up. Because you can also, if you're uncomfortable at your families and then you don't go back, how are you going to ever make progress? Or what kind of maybe even example is that setting to the children? So it's like, let's just keep showing up and we're going to do our best. We're going to behave in a God-honoring way. And it's going to overflow somehow into everybody. There's seeds planted along the way. You just go show up and be consistent and just do your best. Love your relatives and focus on being together, not worrying about the differences or maybe where people are exactly right then in their walk or where they are even in their life. Just love them and be there.
Yeah, that's really good.
That is good. Focusing on what unites you, not what separates you.
Darrell, before you have a closing thought, I just thought the podcasters would want to know. You mentioned Thanksgiving. Are you fry a turkey, oven turkey, or smoke a turkey?
Well, quite honestly, we usually have 2 turkeys, one of which will be oven and one of which will be smoked.
That's okay. You're still a great guy. I still love you.
Can you tell which one Rich likes?
He's fried, I bet.
We have done the deep
So
fry.
do you have a
as well.
closing thought as we wind down here?
Closing thought. For me, I mean, the all the principles and the classes and all the effort that we put in, I wouldn't trade a single second of any of it. It has had such a major impact, not only for Janelle and I, but for our children and for, I'll say, the legacy of the Downs family. And so, it's just been amazing. It's been an amazing journey.
And we're grateful.
Lot
We're
of
just really
effort.
grateful.
Yeah, just gratitude.
That's awesome. That's
nice.
great.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great having you here.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Thank you,
and
Darrell and
sharing.
Janelle. Thanks
you for
for
having us.
sharing because family dynamics are challenging. They are not easy to deal with. And you gave some great practical principles of how to lean in and not just deal with them, but to thrive in those type of situations. And
They
I
look
really,
at them as opportunities.
they really
Yeah.
are. They're opportunities to thrive and to shine in. And it's not just getting by. Now, some people listening probably are just getting by. But if you start working on some of these things, they can be situations where you thrive in. So thank you for that encouragement today. Really appreciate everyone joining today. And it's been great having you along for the ride.
Yeah, if you want more information, videos, blogs, all sorts of posts, check out our website, growingfamilies.life. You will see links to online classes on there and how to connect with a contact mom.
Yeah, I think in the show notes too, we'll have links to Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah,
so you can connect with us
on
there.
social media.
Online classes, you can reach those on the website. And we'd love for you to like and subscribe to our podcast and write a review.
Yeah, it'll help other people find it.
That's right. Yeah, we'd love for that. For more people to be in touch with this information.
Yeah, and if you have ideas for the podcast, topics you'd like us to address, you can email us at podcast@growingfamilies.life.
It's been great having you. Look forward to seeing you and being with you on the next episode of the Life Parenting Podcast.
Yes, and enjoy the holidays.